It's the ESPN Daily, brought to you by ESPN. Good morning. Today is National Best Friends Day. That feels like as good an excuse as any to reach out to your homies. It's also a solid reason for me to showcase friends who are banding together to advocate for change, like DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook, or Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Here's your ESPN Daily. Do we really have to do this? Just doesn't seem like actual sports news. You're just grasping at straws. Listen up. It's going down at Disney World. The NBA, okay, this is sports news, good. The NBA is finally set to return in July, as players and owners have agreed on a plan for the comeback. 22 teams will enter the Walt Disney World bubble, and one team will leave with the NBA title. But each franchise has questions. Which teams actually stand to benefit from the new playoff format? What's the fate of those facing play-in games? Where does the draft lottery come into play? On today's episode of the ESPN Daily Podcast, NBA insider Zach Lowe explains what's at stake in the East and West, plus which bubble teams could make it in and whether or not this season's NBA champion deserves the dreaded asterisk due to the weirdness of the situation. Things to care about. College football players speak out. I don't care. I care a little bit, but I don't also. On Wednesday, more than 60 Missouri football players led a rally, then walked from campus to the Boone County Courthouse in Columbia to register to vote. It was just one of dozens of protests by college football players that have taken place across the country since George Floyd's death. Well, see, that is actually, that's a good thing to do. That might be constructive, registering to vote, if you actually go out and you actually vote, and you don't continue to vote the same problem people into office. If you actually vote for, a change, the change that you want, not the change that some people might be telling you need. Players from Missouri, Iowa, Florida State, North Carolina, Minnesota, Clemson, and others have been lauded for taking a stand, but they didn't just start using their voices for meaningful change this week. They've been doing so for years, only now their schools are listening. Players' actions over the past week underscored not just a massive call for justice and action, but also highlighted a major shift as athletes are protesting and seizing control of the conversation. The power dynamics have shifted, the status quo has been unbalanced, and it's been tipped into the favor of student athletes, former North Carolina linebacker Jake Lawler said. The imbalance Lawler refers to is new territory for many college football players. They have long been shielded by athletic departments and encouraged to keep their views on everything from race to NCAA regulations private, either due to pressure from administrators, coaches, and teammates, or fear of backlash from fans. See, I'm not so sure that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, because I've said before about how one major problem with society is the fact that we have things like Twitter and Facebook where everybody can put out their own opinion and the ones that bother to make the most stink are the ones that get what they want, even if they're actually a small minority. So it's not necessarily better for everybody to be able to say whatever they want. Okay, yes, First Amendment, yes, everybody can say whatever they want, but I'm saying for everybody to have the exposure of the whole world having to hear or see what they say. You have the right to say what you want. You don't necessarily have to have the right to be heard by fucking everybody. In the recent past, when college football players publicly voiced their beliefs on social issues, the response from outsiders was vocal and angry, and too often athletic departments chose to appease offended donors and fans rather than support the athletes who spoke out. If you have the ability to do what's right, you have the responsibility to do what's right. I just can't be silent anymore, Lawler said. I can't beat around the bush. I will be direct and honest. It's not divisive. My message is about unity and about toppling a system that has oppressed black citizens for hundreds of years. That's not about unity because we're not united in your mistaken belief that the system, like the legal system, that the system is still oppressing you. That ended. I'm just saying. Now we have things that actually try to favor black students, such as I can never remember the term, when they take into account your color to see if you get in college or not. Action. Anyway, whatever. It's just, the only people that are oppressing black people are black people. They're parents who tell them this is how it is, even though it's really not. How MLB can fix its labor fight. When it comes to the ongoing negotiations, and did I finish reading that? Yes. When it comes to the ongoing negotiations in MLB, things are, well, not pretty. I'll even take it a step further and say they're flat out ugly. The owners are incredibly frustrated with what they perceive to be the intransigence and lack of imagination in the current union leadership, while the players believe the owners have lied to them repeatedly about their money. Yeah, it's always about the money for the baseball players, apparently. They don't care about their game, they don't care about their craft, they don't care about their skills. They don't care about their fans. All they care about is their money. It's too late to save Major League Baseball from exposing all the toxicity of the working relationship between the owners and players. The chance to present a united front in the face of national trauma is gone. The opportunity to own the sports stage for a lot of the summer has been squandered. Baseball has generated more vitriol than praise in recent months as it attempts to navigate its return without an ounce of compromise. But it's not all doom and gloom for the boys of summer and their owners. There is still a chance to move the game forward and generate a product collaboratively. If the owners and players attempt an honest and earnest post-mortem of their own actions and decisions as soon as the armistice is forged, and that's probably all it will be, a short-term cessation of hostilities, and uncover the mistakes made on both sides, they can ensure they aren't repeated when the two sides resume sparring in the pivotal year of 2021, when the collective bargaining agreement is set to expire. In the meantime, Buster Olney has some suggestions for how both sides can fix MLB's growing labor feud. Things to watch. Joe Rogan. I don't buy it for a second. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Conor McGregor announced his retirement on Twitter. Again? Yes, again. But I thought McGregor was going to take his talents to UFC's Fight Island. Me too, friends. Me too. According to the Notorious, the lack of exciting potential opponents led to his third retirement from the fight game. If, despite him doubling down on his declaration by posting a retirement cake Sunday on Instagram, you're still skeptical that we've truly seen the last of McGregor billionaire strutting around the octagon, you're not alone. Joe Rogan has thoughts. James Conner. Pop, that's yours. Pittsburgh Steelers running back James Conner is providing us with the content we need. On Saturday, Conner posted a video showing the moment that he surprised his dad with a brand new truck. His father's reaction, which goes from disbelief to giddiness and ends with him exclaiming, "Can't nobody tell me nothing now," is priceless. You go, James Conner. That's nice. Overheard. We have been beaten down for so many years. It sucks your soul. You can't accept it anymore. This is a tipping point. We need to make a stand. Michael Jordan on what moved him to donate $100 million to organizations dedicated to racial equality. So Michael Jordan. Fucking Michael Jordan. Who everybody knows. Who most people, probably everybody, loves. Is talking about being beaten down. That's what is so sad. That's what's so tragic about this mentality. You can still feel that way while being Michael fucking Jordan. And that's not a mentality that is caused by reality. Your mentality is not based in reality. Your mentality is based in culture, not white culture or, American culture as a whole. It's just your own culture. You are what is dividing us, because you have to have your own culture, and you can't even recognize that your own culture is what's running you down, what's beating you down. It's tragic. Remember when, on this date in 1996, Warren Morris cemented his place in College World Series lore. LSU was trailing Miami 8-7 with 2 outs in the 9th inning when the Tigers' second baseman, who had injured his wrist earlier in the season and lost some power at the plate after missing 42 games, connected on the first pitch he saw for a 2-run homer over the right field wall. Miami's squad featured 2 future major leaguers in Pat Burrell and Alex Cora, but it was Morris who became a CWS legend. In the immortal words of Santana Moss, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Until next time, remember, Giannis Antetokounmpo says winning on and off the court over the weekend. Stays winning on and off the court. Over the weekend, Antetokounmpo and many of his Bucks teammates joined a Black Lives Matter march in Milwaukee. Oh, good for them. See, over the weekend, off the court, not during their job. Not while they're supposed to be doing their job. Not while they're supposed to be being paid to do a certain job in their own time. So good for them. The reigning NBA MVP, who was spotted handing out water to fellow protesters, addressed the crowd with a powerful message. We want change, we want justice. I don't want my kid to have hate in his heart. Well, good, so don't teach him to. We're all the same, we're all human beings. This has been your ESPN Daily for Monday, June 8th, 2020. Don't teach your kids to have hate in their heart, and they won't. And don't allow the other people in your community to teach them to have hate in their heart. Sharing is caring. If you have a friend who likes to stay in the know, why not send them this newsletter and have them sign up? Blah, blah, blah. Follow ESPN. We're everywhere you are.